Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'll work with you step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. You can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll also find a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials on that website, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're actually in the exam room on exam day. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And now we're going to press on in and we're going to complete this last paper of the 2017 practice papers for grade 3. We're going to look at the last few questions of paper S. So if you turn with me to page 17, we'll look at question 7. And so I always recommend that you have a go at this yourself first. Always writing in pencil. Doesn't matter if you go wrong, you can rub out. Even on exam day, always use pencil. And then you'll have your trusty eraser that you will more than likely need. And you'll need a ruler as well. So I'm hoping you've had a go of this. If you made mistakes, it doesn't matter. You'll learn through that. You won't struggle the next time. And so I'll go through this with you now. We'll work through it together now. So we're asked to rewrite this melody using notes and rests of twice the value. So we need to change the time signature to reflect that. And then we'll need to regroup or rebeam the notes as necessary, showing the new beats relating to our new time signature. Now at the moment we're in 2 quarter notes, 2 crotchet beats per bar. And so we don't ever change the top number, we need to stay in duple time, but to double it we're going from crotchets, quarter notes to minims, half notes. And so now our time signature will be 2/2 and everything will be doubled from there. And so this will become, instead of a crotchet or a quarter note, it will become a minim. And so here, that will become a dotted crotchet, a dotted quarter note, so we're going to lose that beam. And then here, these two will lose a beam and they'll become semiquavers instead of demi-semiquavers. So if we just copy that down. So we only need 2 now, and we can see that that time is going to work out now. So to make these twice the value, we'll lose that beam, and instead of becoming quavers or eighth notes, they become crotchets or quarter notes. So I'll just there we go. So this, we will lose the little tail, the beam, and that will also become a crotchet. This is a quaver or an eighth note rest, so to double that, that will become a crotchet. So here we're going to lose a beam off all of these to double it. So that will become a dotted crotchet, a dotted quarter note. So we don't need to join that up at all. And then this triplet now will just become semiquavers instead of demi-semiquavers. So they will be all beamed together still, but we'll only need a second beam to make them semiquavers or 16th notes. So we still need the triplet sign. So we're not changing the effect at all. These two will sound exactly the same. We've just changed the unit value. So again, we lose the tail. That becomes a crotchet beat rest, quarter note rest. Again, we'll lose a beam. So that becomes a dotted crotchet. And then these two become semiquavers instead of demi-semiquavers. So pop the dot, and then we'll still beam these, but just need a second line now to make those semis. We'll lose the tail here, so that becomes crotchet, and then there's our crochet quarter note rest. There we go, nice and easy, job done. let's press on. So here we go, where we've got all of the Italian terms and performance directions, and there's quite a lot now because we've got all of grade 1, all of grade 2 and all of grade 3, and I always recommend that you group them thematically from all of your grades, cumulative, and group them into sections that kind of make sense to you. It could be all things to do with quick, all things to do with slow, all things to do with loud. You'll find some linking words as well, just whatever makes sense to you. Maybe even colour code it however your brain works to retain this. So have a go at this now, if you've had a little revise, and have a go at it, and even if you don't quite remember them, just have a guess. You will learn better with your mistakes. Don't just look it up. That's a little bit too passive. You've got to sort of scratch your head and just rummage through your memory to remember these. So I'm hoping you've had a go, and we'll just check through these together. And so this is a repeat mark. It's a bit sneaky sometimes, some red herrings, and I think multiple choice makes that trickier sometimes, because yes, there is a double bar line, but that's not quite the full story. Those dots show us the repeat mark. So triste is sad, sorrowful. Vivace is lively and quick. Tempo commodo, well, I think that's easy to guess. It's at a comfortable speed, commodious, so comfortable. I think that one's not too difficult. Subito, suddenly, and poco is a little. I used to call my doggy poco pucissimo, just little, just whatever it takes. Make it as bizarre as you can to just try and remember it. The more bizarre you make it in your memory, the more thoroughly you will retain that information. There we go. So let's move on to the last question. Again, this is one of my favourite questions at the end of the paper, where we're referring to a little extract. It's kind of like music theory for real now, because we're applying it to a proper piece of music rather than just abstract exercises. So here we go. So we're looking at this melody here, and then all these questions will relate to it, so we'll just keep shuffling up and down. If you haven't had a go already, just have a crack through, and then we'll now work through it together. So the melody is in F major, and we need to give the bar that contains all the notes of the tonic triad. So let's work out what we're looking for. First of all, we want the first, the third and the fifth. If we're in F major, F of course is the first, G, A, B, C. So we're looking for a bar that's got F, A and C. It may not be in that order. So here, watch out, we're in the treble clef. Careful you don't get caught out there. We've got an A and an F, but no C. We've got an F, that's all. Here we've got an A, an F and a C. So there we go. So bar 3, that's soon found. What other key has the same key signature as F major? So that's just a general question. So we know that F major is related to D minor, so they share the same key signature. There we go. Name the degree of the scale of the last note of the melody. Remember the key is F major, so the last note of the melody. So here, if we're counting up, there's an F, 1, 2, 3. We can tell that's a third. We've also already worked out that that's A is the third degree of the scale, as we were looking for the tonic triad. So we've kind of already answered that. So we know that that last note is the third because it's an A. Answer true or false to this statement. The melody begins on the third beat of the bar. So then, here, so we've got an anacrusis, we've got an incomplete bar, we've got some like a lead-in bar of upbeats, and that's reflected later at the end of the piece. And so here the time signature is common time, which is 4/4. So if we've got one beat here, half and a half is 1, a half and a half is 1. We've got 2 beats, so we've got an upbeat of 1 beat, 2 beats. So we actually come in on beat 3, because there's beat 3, there's beat 4. So yeah, that's true statement. underline one of the following words that best describes how bar 3 should be played. So let's have a good look at bar 3. We've got all these articulation marks, we've got all these staccato marks, which mean detached, kind of a spiky way of playing. So it's staccato, detached because of all those little dots underneath and on top of the notes. That's that done. So the last part, using the blank stave, so we're going to be writing here so we can easily refer to what we're copying, but make sure we're copying and looking at the right bit. The beginning of bar 5, so we're going to be looking at this last bit to the end of the music, but we need to write it an octave lower and change from treble to bass. So we need to change the octave and the clef. So then we're going from bar 5 to the end. So before I do anything, I'm just going to map out my bar lines just so I don't get lost. And then, of course, we'll still need to show that that's a repeat mark. Everything needs to be the same apart from the pitch. So we need to just think about where we're going. If we use middle C as a reference point, here we're on the A below, above middle C. And so to drop the octave, we need to go to the A below middle C. And so here is middle C in the bass clef, and so to get to the A below CBA it takes us to here. So now that we've found where we're starting from, rub that out and we can just work it out from there. Keep middle C as our reference point. So A, down a step, up a third to the B above where we started, back to the G, down a third, down a step, rest, down a step, rest. Now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which takes us to middle C, and there's C, and so an octave below would be middle C, and so that's correct. Up a step, so we're just borrowing over the ledger line now, middle C, back up a step, back up a step to the E, now down to the A, F, I'm swapping clefs here, so up a step, D, up a step, up a step, C, E, G, that's right. So actually, we're way above middle C now. Up a step, so we want 3 ledger lines, but we're above that. Down a third, so we just need 2 ledger lines. Down a step onto the second ledger line. So that's the E, above middle C, we're there in the bass clef, rest. Down a step, rest. Now down a step, that should take us to middle C, and it does, so that's correct. And then down a third to the A, and that should take us right back to where we started. Rest, A, rest. There we go. And so now we've done all the thinking, we've just got to now be careful about the position of the stems. So it looks to me like everything's super high above that middle line, so all the stems are going to be coming down. By all means use a ruler. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's right. There we go, so that's all the thinking done, and so let's just go the extra mile and make sure we earn every one of those points. There's plenty of time in the exam to do that. Perhaps don't absolutely have to do all the articulation, we've done the thinking, but why not? 40, let's say 40, there we go. We could perhaps rub out our thinking from an earlier question. And that's that paper completed. I do hope that's been helpful to you. I hope that you're enjoying it. I certainly am. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. Please do go to sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available to you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.